This is Campus News, reporting the top stories from colleges and universities.
Next on Campus News, MSU Moorhead students react to racist messages showing up on their campus.
See how one young woman is balancing a hectic life as a mom and a student.
A woman is teaching others to communicate without words.
And a unique team at North Dakota State University is closing out this school year with a bang. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Campus News. I'm Callan Klein.
And I'm Kelsey Roseth. Minnesota State University Moorhead is proud of the diversity on campus.
But racist messages are popping up around campus, and people are wondering where they're coming from. Reporter Allison Voorhees has more.
There's no reason that it should be happening.
MSUM's security department has had their hands full after a series of notes have been showing up around campus. Postage-sized notes with racist messages on them directed towards black males, including white supremacy websites, showed up within the last few weeks.
At least 4 more occurrences of them being found in the library at Hagen, biology area, in some High Plains readers actually.
These racist notes have been found around campus, like places here in this hallway.
When I come to school here, I don't want to have to worry about someone being segregated or racially discriminated.
It's horrible. I mean, it's just, I don't know, I mean, it's been how long and people are still being racist? Like, who cares about the color of your skin?
And when asked, Lemke says the act is actually not illegal. He proposes more security cameras.
My first question is are there any cameras? And the response is not in those locations.
With photographer Cole Rigg, Allison Voorhees, Campus News.
Lemke says students caught posting similar notes will be turned over to administration or the campus court system. Fighting a flood every spring can take an emotional toll on residents, and researchers from the University of Oklahoma are wondering how the Fargo Moorhead community does it year after year. The university, NDSU professors, and Concordia's disaster psychology team are working to get FM flood volunteers to take a survey on community resilience. Researchers believe that FM area has a national reputation as a strong community that deals well with floods and adversity. The research will be used to create programs for other communities to promote resilience.
Valley City State University has had its problems with the Cheyenne River, but with good planning, it manages to keep classes afloat this spring semester. Reporter Robert Swanson takes us to VCSU.
At first glance, all is calm, but the drive into town is a different story. Valley City had to close 8 of its 10 bridges. The river forced Valley City State University to limit its student parking, but the school helped off-campus students with its own busing service.
We are offering a shuttle service that runs back and forth from the W.E. Osmond Fieldhouse, also known as the Bubble, for students who live in the community.
VCSU driver Joe McKenna says the students get more
Is there need a van at the student center?
than just a ride to class.
Actually, they've been serving coffee and hot cocoa and donuts at the field house when they come in, so they kind of enjoy that too.
Even though classes are still in session, the scenery keeps the river in focus.
In every class, we pretty much talk about it because, like, every day, you know, as it goes on and on, like, a new thing happens.
Feels like you're in World War II or something with all these dikes up. It just kind of shuts off all driving abilities and whatnot.
Some people want to go home, but that's just a cheap way to get out of class.
If it floods and like a dike breaks, then I could go home. So I was kind of hoping for that, but secretly.
No matter what students may have secretly thought, VCSU's classes stayed in session despite record crests. With photographer Chase Miller, this is Robert Swanson, Campus News.
VCSU's student body only missed 1 day of classes to help with sandbagging efforts.
President Obama's top man at the Pentagon is taking center stage in a couple weeks at NDSU. U.S. Secretary of Defense Robert Gates will be the guest speaker for this May's graduation ceremony. NDSU President Dean Brashani says he wanted to show his gratitude for a great first year at his new home, so he called up an old friend. Brashani says the student body reaction to Gates' upcoming visit to the campus has been great.
This is a somewhat unprecedented event, and to have someone of his caliber and his role in our country be speaking at graduation really make that a more memorable day than it would have been, and it's already a pretty darn memorable day. You're graduating.
NDSU's spring graduation ceremony will be at the Fargo Dome at 10 a.m. on May 14th. Students are getting excited about hopping on the bus, especially those from NDSU.
The American Public Transportation Association has nationally recognized the university's partnership with the MAT bus system. I got a chance to get on the bus and see what the fuss is all about. Students are stepping on board and sitting down quite frequently
Nice.
on Fargo Moorhead's metro area transit, or MAT bus system.
Almost 50% of the ridership in our Fargo Moorhead area.
Without being behind the wheel, there's time to text,
14th Avenue.
time to talk,
Sometimes I'll make phone calls and stuff and just get little things I can out of the way.
and plenty of time to take a break.
It gives me more time to think. I don't have to worry about driving. I don't have to worry about what's going on. I just sit down and go.
And the best part about MAT bus?
12th Avenue.
And this is free.
It's free.
All the time.
All the time, yep.
Yeah, it's kind of free. It's included in tuition.
Figuring out bus routes may be daunting. To those unfamiliar with the system,
It is pretty much impossible going anywhere unless, you become a slave to the schedule of the MAT bus.
but they're not as bad as you'd think.
It doesn't take that long. Maybe like a week or two of just looking at the map and figuring it out.
For many, it's quick,
Hop on and go.
easy, and a good way of keeping Fargo's air clean.
So you're sharing the ride, and anytime you can share the ride, you're going to reduce your fuel consumption. It is a green way to go.
Plus, it keeps students out of the elements,
Definitely preferable to walking. I guess I just enjoy riding the bus.
making life for these riders
ESA, Fargo Dome.
a little easier. MAT bus gives more than 1 million rides annually to students in the area. Young people of today believe it may be more difficult for them to be as financially successful as their parents. A recent survey by the Associated Press shows that many 18 to 24-year-olds say that life will likely be harder for them because of increasing student debt. However, 90% of those asked say the loans are an investment towards a fulfilling career. MSU Moorhead sophomore Joe Kovacs says having a debt does become a motivation.
Creates a sense of urgency to get a job, so you can't just sit around when you're done. You got to actually get out there and get one.
The rate of unemployment for college graduates is 5% lower than those with just a high school diploma.
With summer on the way, a recent hiring trend could give students a better chance to earn some extra cash. Companies like Home Depot and Lowe's are hiring more people for seasonal work than last year. Low-wage, entry-level jobs have become scarce since the recession. These positions, which students rely on to build their resumes, have been taken by older, more experienced workers. Employment website snagajob.com says competition will still be fierce, and students need to start looking now for summer work. For many students, balancing school, work, and a social life is tough enough. But for students like Rhonda Shinneberry, the balancing act is even more of a struggle. Reporter Tara Kramer shows us what it's like to be a student mom.
Day at the Shinneberry home starts early. On this day in particular, Rhonda and her husband are waiting as their 22-month-old daughter, Kira, is evaluated.
It's an unfair test because Kira would rather destroy than stack blocks.
Kira's development declared on track. With a kiss, Rhonda is out the door for class.
Bye-bye, Kira!
A senior psychology student, Rhonda finds it difficult to find time for both school and being a mom.
There'll be times where I'll be sitting there trying to watch something, and she'll literally get in front of me on my lap and grab my face and make me look at her.
In her busy schedule, Rhonda has to multitask. She says she's lucky if she can stop by the Women's Center to grab lunch and hang with friends.
Usually my home base. I come here, say hi to people, maybe set some stuff down.
Another class later, and she's finally on her way home, but even the decision of what to do with her free time can be tough.
Sometimes I'm fighting with myself. I'm like, I really should be playing with her right now. I really should be playing with her right now, but I really just need to relax. It's kind of tough.
With all the struggles Rhonda faces, the people in her life have always found her drive impressive.
I'm proud, very proud of her actually, for sticking it out and for staying in school and for at times putting up with the hectic pace of juggling all three positions as a wife, as a mother, and as a full-time student.
Though life can be busy, Rhonda says it's worth the work to have Kira in her life. Tara Kramer, Campus News.
Shinneberry is graduating next month and plans to attend graduate school in the next few years.
The North Dakota Energy Department is granting $2.9 million to the University of North Dakota to help further research on West Nile virus treatment. The research involves using goose antibodies to help people infected with West Nile, which have been proven to be effective in treating patients. UND is cooperating with geese farmers in Tolna, North Dakota to obtain the antibodies. The grant money will also be used to research other diseases like the bird flu. Math professors are very familiar with pie, but MSU Moorhead math professors are taking a much closer look at a different kind of pie to raise funds for their department.
Carly Lemcool sums up a tasty day for the math department.
Members of the MSUM Math Club have a new meaning to the term pie.
Nice pie!
As a fundraiser for the club, the members got their math professors to take a pie to the face. They even got their club president to take a couple too.
Well, I guess I'm having a lot of fun and it amuses other people, so I guess that's the best part.
Professors also brought baked pies that were sold by the slice.
For $2, MSUM students can enjoy a piece of pie or pie their favorite professor in the face.
Yep.
With a pie tin full of whipped cream,
come pie me.
I got class at 1:30.
You got time?
Students could have the enjoyment of pieing their favorite professor.
Because you could miss.
Have a great day.
And help out the math club. With photographers Zach Kobrinsky and Logan Werlinger, Carly Lemcool, Campus News.
This is the second year the MSUM Math Department has hosted Pie Your Math Professor. It's an event at MSUM that continues to grow in participants and popularity. Hundreds of students filled the Memorial Union to showcase their research projects at this year's Student Academic Conference. They had the option of using a poster display and interacting with those passing by, or giving a formal presentation. The presenters spent countless hours researching everything from biosciences to the art of advertising.
It's an enriching experience for the students. It builds who they are. You know, they have now had an experience as a scientist when they go forward into either professional schools after Moorhead State or straight into the job market.
Now in its 13th year, the Student Academic Conference gives the MSUM community a chance to get a closer look at students' work. More than 500 students presented at this year's conference.
Among the students at the conference was a theater department senior who took the opportunity to showcase her talents. Reporter Ezra Vandenheide takes us behind the curtains into a director's colorful take on the conference.
I should be looking all messy with 1.5 pounds of cream upon my face.
Here in the Gaiety Theater, students presented the musical of musicals. With nearly every seat filled, the small group of theater students put on a show that would leave the audience with plenty to keep them entertained.
I love musicals, they are my favorite.
The 9 performers worked all semester with their director, MSUM senior Clarissa Pudwell, as a colorful way to showcase for the Student Academic Conference.
I'm definitely going to miss the teachers and the students, the peers that I was able to be here and work with.
Clarissa has been involved in various theater and musical performances, including the Straw Hat Players and the Medora Musical.
After this summer, I plan on moving to Las Vegas. I have family out there, and there's a bunch of opportunity to perform actual theater and singing stuff as well out there, not just the typical showgirl stuff.
Clarissa will be graduating this spring with a bachelor's degree in theater performance.
Should I stay or should I go? Is it yes or is it no?
With photographer Michael Wiegand, Ezra Vandenheide, Campus News.
Pudwell also served as a student panelist at this year's conference representing the School of Arts and Humanities.
Aliens invaded the stage at North Dakota State University. The theater department is performing its last play of the semester called Tales of the Lost Formicans. The play is about aliens who land in a small town and stay to observe a family. The actors consisted of NDSU students who were able to play multiple characters.
I really like the trucker because I just get to be angry. Every time I'm on stage, I'm yelling at someone.
I'm also an alien for a few scenes where I just come on and make beepy sounds and stuff like that.
The actors say the play brings up important topics like divorce, Alzheimer's, and disabilities, and mixes it with humor for the audience. The play's final performance is 7:30 tonight at NDSU. Students at NDSU got a chance to hear from a motivational speaker whose challenges translate into poems.
Kiara Murphy has more on his visit to NDSU's campus.
Angry songs and the hours spent.
Poetry is something Laderick Horn grew a passion for at a young age. But while growing up in New Jersey, Horn, his parents, and teachers noticed he struggled in school.
Take this boy out in the hall and see if he knows how to read. Now, how do you think that made me feel?
Doctors labeled Horn as neurologically impaired, but Horn did not let that or his built-up insecurity stop him.
I graduated 2003 with honors.
While in college, Horn found a way to overcome his disability.
My first counselor told me, stop worrying about your spelling. You know, we can deal with the spelling later on. Just sit down and write. And so I began waking up in the middle of the night and just pouring myself out on a page.
NDSU students say they really enjoyed his speech and poems.
It was really intense. The way he started off with a poem was just awesome.
While one crowd member says he could really relate to Horn and what he is trying to get across.
Finding a way to show the world who I am beyond what those limitations are is exactly the same message that Laderick shared.
I was hiding in the bathroom, hiding from the embarrassment that I knew was going to be waiting for me when I got back to class.
Laderick Horn, once the child who ran away from his struggles, is now a poet.
Hope on our doorstep and made us want to be free.
Writer, motivational speaker, and advocate for people with disabilities.
See, it's my job to unlock doors, unshackle minds, break through glass ceilings, motivate, inspire, and challenge you.
With photographer Caitlin Teskey, Kiara Murphy, Campus News.
Horn says he visits schools because he likes to talk to others with similar stories.
Well, many young girls dream of owning a life-size Barbie, but one college student says girls should start shopping for a new role model. Galia Slayan, a sophomore from Hamilton College in New York, created a life-size doll using Barbie's measurements to show what the iconic doll would look like if it was real. It stands 6 feet tall with a 39-inch bust, 18-inch waist, and 33-inch hips, unrealistic for human dimensions. She says the doll is one of the many influences that gives girls outrageous expectations of what women should look like.
Some people dread going to work, but that's not the case for 52-year-old Sean Emery. Emery is part of Circus Cabaret, a traveling circus that performed at NDSU. Circuit Cabaret is a 5-person act that travels to different schools and brings the circus to students. Emery says no matter the age, performing in a circus never gets old.
I remember seeing old men work when I was in college, and I used to sit there and go, look at the old guy go. That's what I want. I want to be that old guy.
Emery plans to stick with his team and continue to teach at the University of Minnesota. Emery's daughter is following in her parents' footsteps. She's currently going to circus school.
With the end of school year approaching, some college students at North Dakota State University are hitting the stage one last time. Daniel Bartholomew shows us why NDSU's campus is alive with the sound of music.
For some vocal performance students like Travis Berger, a passion for music starts at a young age.
When I was little, my folks, we'd sit down together and we'd watch musicals on like VHS, like The Wizard of Oz or Sound of Music.
Over a decade later, Travis finds himself at NDSU, where he is currently performing in the university's production of Die Fledermaus.
Technically, it's an operetta, so it's kind of halfway between an opera and a musical, because there's usually in an opera there won't be any spoken dialogue, but in this one there's a lot of spoken dialogue.
Welcome, my good friends. You are all here to enjoy yourselves.
And then they throw in songs every once in a while.
Dr. Virginia Sublett, the conductor of the production, says this was the first time she has worked with Travis on a show.
It's been a lot of fun working with him. He's doing a great job, and all of the students are doing a great job.
And Dr. Sublett knows what she's talking about. Prior to teaching at NDSU, Sublett was a professional opera singer, working with companies in New York, Los Angeles, San Diego, and France. Like Travis, Dr. Sublett also remembers discovering her love for music at a young age.
When I was 2 years old, I was begging my parents to get me a piano, so I was always interested in music.
Whether they've been listening to the sound of music from childhood or first discovered their talents at college, these students put in the work so they can sing melodies like these, blend harmonies like these, and hit notes like these. Daniel Bartholomew, Campus News.
Deflate a Mouse opens this Friday at 7:30 p.m. in NDSU's Festival Concert Hall. And now we're going to hand it over to CJ Pierre with sports. CJ.
Thanks, guys. The University of North Dakota Fighting Sioux nicknamed soap opera isn't over yet. North Dakota University System Chancellor Bill Getz says UND will keep its license for Fighting Sioux merchandise through 2012. That is a change of the plans for the Sioux after saying in October they would stop approving new merchandise designs in a plan to quit using the nickname and logo. UND previously planned to discontinue the nickname and logo this August, but the North Dakota legislature signed a bill requiring UND to keep the nickname in March. UND can still face sanctions from the NCAA if they choose to keep the nickname in 2011. Members of the Fargo Moorhead community took part in the 6th annual Dragon Firewalk for athletics. Hundreds of people gathered at Alex Nemzik Fieldhouse to participate. The weekend event included a 5-kilometer walk as well as 4 races, including a 10-mile relay.
Students, there's people that can just donate if they want, athletes, and just pretty much anybody that wants to do it, so it's definitely a good thing.
The annual event raises money for Dragon Athletics General Scholarship Fund. A recent competition at North Dakota State University brought together some area rock climbers. However, some common rock climbing equipment was missing. Reporter Patrick Conte shows us a different way to climb to the top.
Fingers grip the wall tightly as the climber tries to get a good grip. The Rocky Bow Boulder competition was held at the climbing wall of the NDSU Wellness Center. Bouldering is a style of climbing that emphasizes power, strength, and dynamics. Climber Charlie Hansen is one of the competitors who enjoys the challenge and the different workout that bouldering provides.
It's definitely a fun thing to get into, and it works the entire body opposed to a lot of sports just work some or just lifting. It's fun and it's engaging as well. It works your entire body.
Bouldering does not use ropes or harnesses. While top rope climbing focuses on getting to the top of the wall, bouldering is a side-to-side movement. Scoring is based on the number of attempts each climber takes. If they make it on the first attempt, they earn the full points. Each attempt after that is negative 100 points.
When climbers are bouldering, they do not use ropes or harnesses. All they can rely on are hands, feet, and chalk.
Using chalk basically prevents sweat from accumulating in your hands, which makes rock slippery. So yeah, putting it on just makes it so you have a better grip on the wall. So
the climbers say they enjoy the full body workout and freedom from ropes that bouldering provides. With photographer Sarah Michaels, Patrick Conte, Campus News Sports.
NDSU holds several climbing competitions throughout the school year. NDSU football fans will get a chance to catch a glimpse of what the Bison will look like in 2011 at the Fargo Dome. The Bison football team plays its annual spring game today at 1 p.m. The quarterback position is up for grabs as sophomore Brock Jensen, who started 7 games last season, and redshirt freshman Isley Thornton compete for playing time. Admission is free to the public. The Bison will kick off their 2011 campaign against Lafayette College on September 3rd this fall. The NDSU Bison softball team saw one player have a career day. Sophomore pitcher Whitney Johnson struck out 24 batters during her doubleheader against South Dakota State. Johnson matched a career high in strikeouts with 14 in the second game and also extended her winning streak to 11 games in a row. The latest performance by the right-hander earned Pitcher of the Week honors in the Summit League. The team is currently in Utah for a 3-game series against Southern Utah University. NDSU sports fans have heard of football, basketball, and volleyball teams, but a team shooting guns is another story. Reporter Chase Miller has more.
The Bison Air Pistol team hones their skills inside the Red River Marksmanship Center.
Not bad. We get people together to shoot and try to put together some competition teams.
They went to the national competition exceeding expectations.
It's much more impressive since MIT has a $500,000 shooting program annually.
Even though the shooters didn't get the top shot as a team, they say it's still an honor.
We took a air pistol team down to the national tournament this year in Georgia.
It went actually very well. We started our team in January. Didn't really expect to qualify, but we went down there in 10th place and got 6th.
We beat MIT, the Coast Guard, Yale, and Michigan State too.
And with the national exposure, shooters like Pepke have the opportunity to travel worldwide.
As far as being on this team, I get a lot of financial compensations. I get flown over Like they get free trips to Europe.
Pepke will be shooting at the national competition in the Czech Republic this summer.
Yeah, the challenge was first one to fall.
The team is now practicing for the outdoor season and is one of 85 air pistol programs in the country. Chase Miller, Campus News Sports.
The team practices every Tuesday and Thursday. And I've never shot a gun before, but those guys make it look pretty interesting.
Yeah, you know, I grew up in the small hunting town of Munich, so guns are kind of second nature there.
Yeah, it'd be so hard to hit those targets, though. I can't imagine how difficult that must be. Thanks, CJ. Most people tell stories with words, but one woman came to Minnesota State Community and Technical College in Moorhead to show others how her voice is heard through her hands. Reporter Lane Zavolosky tells us more.
It was a classroom like any other, full of students ready to learn. Only this class was taught by a deaf teacher.
Trix Bruce came to the Oscar Burgos Auditorium to teach parents of deaf students and students about ASL classifiers.
Among the students were interpreters who came from as far as 3 hours away to learn more about American Sign Language classifiers. Classifiers are often used to tell stories. They visually represent events, showing movement and location.
My workshop benefits students, and they learn how to visualize and expand their knowledge and not shut down from frustration. I do it to give new possibilities.
Trix Bruce travels around the country workshopping. She says she originally wanted to be a writer, but an interpreter saw her dramatic abilities and encouraged her to workshop. Taylor Mickelson is a deaf student at Fargo North.
It helped me understand how to translate signs using emotion.
It was an experience for hearing and deaf students alike, with photographer Poonam Girdhar, Lane Zavolosky, Campus News.
Trix now has 22 DVDs that she sells to teach interpreters and students around the country.
And that's it for this edition of Campus News, our last show of the season.
We leave you with more professors getting pied in the face.
Thanks for joining us this season, everyone.
Have a great week, everybody, and we'll see you next year.
Campus News is produced by the Television News Workshop in the Department of Mass Communications at Minnesota State University Moorhead in cooperation with Prairie Public Television.